Hey there, welcome back and welcome to section 3. So, in section 1, we covered a lot of different concepts about neural networks. Things like how a neural network looks, what is a single neuron, the mathematical functions, and also the entire process in which a neural network is trained. And in this section, what we are going to do is we'll cover the rest of the remaining stuff, things like back propagation, gradient descent optimization, the forward and backward passes and all these things. And these were things that we missed, right? So starting this video with a couple of more videos, we'll just cover all of that. So let's get started. So in this video, we are going to talk about gradient descent optimization, and let's see what that is, right? So let's have just a bit of recap of what we know till now. So we know that a neural network basically consists of multiple different layers. So starting from layer 1 till layer n, you have all these different layers, and then you have multiple neurons in each of these layers. So you pass in data to layer 1, then mathematical functions keep on happening, then the output goes to layer 2, then similar mathematical functions take place in layer 2, then the output is moved to layer 3, and like that from the last layer n, you get the predictions, right? So this is the diagram, where we can see that if you pass in data that contains only two features, x1 and x2, how is the data passed through the neural network, right? And this is pretty much the same diagram from the neural network training video, which we have seen. And this is again for a single neuron. So you pass in one feature to one neuron, right, in the input layer, and then this is how it's passed. And we have also seen how two neurons are connected. We know that there is always an edge between two neurons, and that edge is associated with a weight term, right? And here the weight is W1. And when the bond between the two neurons is stronger, then the weight also has a higher value, right? The weight increases. So what is the goal of the training process in neural networks? So the goal is basically to find the correct values for weights and biases. So you will start off with some random values for weights and biases, and you go through the entire training process in which you tweak the values of weights and biases, and you finally get the best values for which the loss is minimum. So that is pretty much all we know about neural networks till now, right? So let's get started talking about gradient descent. Now, to talk about gradient descent, there are actually many different ways in which we can do that. We can talk about the entire neural network and see how gradient descent works and so on, but that will be way too complicated. So let us just take a very simple problem and a single neuron and talk about gradient descent, which will make everything crystal clear for you. So say we have a regression problem, right? It's a linear regression problem, I should say. So you can see that we have some points in two-dimensional space, right? And we need to fit a regressor line through these points. So we use a single neuron here where we pass in all the data, and now we need to fit a regressor. So looking at this data, you can easily find out that it's going to be a single line that will get fit in this data, right? And this line will pretty much look like this. So how did we fit this line, right? So how did we find the correct values for weights and biases, right, which will help you to fit this line? Because this line is again a straight line, right? And a straight line has the equation of y equals mx plus c, which is pretty much similar to y equals wx plus b, right, which is the equation that we have for a single neuron's affine transformation. So if you see the mathematical functions of a single neuron, then this is pretty much what we have, right? You pass in a lot of data points. Now in this case, we don't have 4 data points or something like that. We just have one data point, which is x, right? And then x gets passed through the affine transformation, where also you have the bias term for that neuron, and with the bias term and x, so basically with x you multiply w and you add the bias term and you get wx plus b. Now in case of linear regression, you can pretty much understand that the activation function is going to be nothing other than identity function, right? So and that is same as not using activation functions, right? So we can just remove the activation function, and this is pretty much what this neuron is going to do in our case. So we have a single neuron, and this is how the mathematical function is going to look for the single neuron in this linear regression use case, right? So it will just output wx plus b. So looking at wx plus b, you can just see that now the goal of the training process for this single neuron is going to be to find the correct values for w and b, right? And you just have one value for w and one value for b, and you need to find the correct values for those. So again, we are back with the regression problem, and in the regression problem we need to find the best fit line for the given data, right? So how are we going to find the best fit line? So we'll basically start off with a very basic line, right? So we'll start with a very basic initial values for, say, or I should say some random values for w and b, right? Because I mean, as I already mentioned in a previous video while talking about tensors and all, so generally what we do is we take the values of w and b from our random distribution, right? So say we have a random tensor for w, we have a random tensor for b, and we multiply w with x and we add b, and we finally get this line, right? This is pretty much the line that we have, and you can see, like, looking at the line, it's not at all fitting, right? So once we fit, like, right, once we have this line, right, then what we do is we calculate a loss. And what is the loss? Now in this case of linear regression, the loss is going to be the least square error. So basically we get the distances of all the points that we have in our space, right? We have all these points plotted over here, so we check that what is the distance between each point and the line that we have plotted. So then we have all these points with us, then we just apply the least square formula and we pretty much get a loss, right? And then what we do, we minimize that loss, we try to minimize that loss, right? So basically now you have found the loss, you have some values of the loss, and you also have a loss function with you. Now when you try to minimize the loss, how you minimize, you basically calculate gradients for the model parameters that you have, right? So you have the w as a model parameter, you have b as a model parameter, and you calculate the gradients of that, right? And you finally subtract the gradients, or it depends on like what kind of what kind of optimizations and all you are doing. So, and that is something we will cover, right, in some further videos. And just remember for now that you have calculated the loss, and now you have to tweak the values of the weights and biases, right, so that you have a better fit. Now you can see that we have used whatever loss function we have calculated in this case, and we have tried to improve the values of w and b such that the loss is minimum. And here you can see that the line is not a perfect fit now, but still it's a better fit compared to the one that we had previously, right? So we end up here, and here also we do pretty much the same thing. We again calculate the loss from like we calculate the distances from this line to all the different points, then we get the value of the least square error, and we finally use that, we finally try to minimize that, and we end up with this line. So this is pretty much the best fit for our problem, right? We have this line which looks like it's going through all the data points which we have, and it looks like it's pretty much the best fit that we can have. So again, gradient descent optimization is the process in which weights and biases are changed and network is trained. Now if you read this right, then you will have one question, because in the very first section I said that back propagation is actually the process in which this entire thing happens, right? But to be honest, at that time I just wanted to make things really simple, so I said that the entire process in which the weights, biases and all these things are changed and you have a properly trained neural network, all that is called back propagation. Well, that is not actually the case. So there are actually two steps once you go through the once you go pass through the neural networks, right? So step one is back propagation. Now what really happens in back propagation? So in case of back propagation, you calculate the gradients, right? So you have all these different model parameters, w1, w2 till wn, then you have all these bias terms, right, for different neurons. So you have all these parameters. For all parameters you calculate the gradients, and once you calculate the gradients, so that entire process of gradient calculation is called back propagation. And what is gradient descent? So gradient descent is the way of calculating the, you already have the loss, so gradient descent is the way of changing the weights and biases. So how do you use the gradients that you already have calculated in back propagation and change the weights and biases such that the loss should reduce, right? So this is pretty much what gradient descent does. So now let us visually understand gradient descent. From the previous regression line example, we could understand that, okay, so gradient descent is basically helping us to minimize the error, and we are finally finding out that what is the best fit. either for a regression use case or for a classification use case, it's going to be pretty much the same. But now let's understand from a visual perspective, how will it look like? So here we have a graph, and you can see it's a 3-dimensional graph. So at one axis we have W, at the other axis we have B, and at the final y-axis we just have MSE. So what is MSE? It's basically the means, mean square error and all that, and which is pretty much the same thing that we have used, right, for the linear regression use case. So if we plot the value of the error based on the values of W and B, we'll get a graph that looks pretty much like this. So looking at this, you can see that this is not at all a very simple graph. So it's a very complex plane that we have, right? And in this plane, like some points are having really high loss, and there are some points which are having really low loss. So you can see that the section that is kind of like greenish, so this is a section which has really low values of loss, and then the red section basically has a really high value of loss. So basically what our goal is to find out the minimum point in this entire plane, right? So looking at this diagram, you can see that the minimum point is basically this one. So this is the point that you are going to find out, right? So when you find when you have to minimize the loss function, so by minimizing the loss function, what I mean is basically you need to find the minimum point in this entire plane, right? Entire plane of loss function. So for different values of W and B, you can have different loss functions or different values of losses, and you need to find that value of W and B for which this loss is minimum. And so in this minimum loss, you again have some values of W and B as mentioned, right? And those are going to be the best values for them. So basically when you start training your neural network, right, so initially you randomly, as I said, so from a random distribution you get the values of W and B, right? And using the random values, I mean, you can end up anywhere in this entire graph, so if you get lucky, you might end up right over here in the lower zone, right? So if your random distribution gives you really values which are really close to the optimal values, but generally that won't happen. So you will end up somewhere in this red zone. So here you can see that with the initial values of W and B, I end up over here. So once you have this value of initial loss, then you basically do all the steps, right? Like back propagation to calculate the gradients of all the different parameters. Then you adjust the parameters through gradient descent, right? So that the value of loss will reduce. So, and how will it reduce? It will reduce pretty much like this, right? So this is the first value of the loss, and you can see that we took a step towards this. So now we have a lower value of loss, and similarly we'll go like this. So we again have a lower value of loss, then we'll again go further as much as possible, and finally we get the least error, right? So this is the point where we have the least error, and we can't go any further because after this the loss is not going to reduce, right? And even if it's going to reduce, the loss, the reduction, right, it's going to be really minimum and it won't serve our purpose. So basically we are starting with some initial values of W and B. Then we are going through gradient descent, right? So we change the values of W and B to reduce the MSE to find best values. Now in case of any other kind of problem, maybe this is not going to be MSE, rather it's going to be some other loss function, right? But in our case, this is MSE, and we reduce the values of W and B such that we get the best fit, right? We have the best values of W and B. This is pretty much all you do in gradient descent visually. So you basically start off with some value of W and B, right? And you go through the neural network, you get the prediction. Using the prediction, you calculate the loss, right? In our regression example, the loss was a very simple MSE loss, right? Maybe in some other example for classification and all, we'll have some really complicated functions for calculating the loss. And once you have the loss, then you use the back propagation step in order to calculate gradients for the different parameters. Then you use the gradient descent step in order to tweak the values of W and B, and you keep on doing it till you have the best values for W and B for which the loss is minimum. And this is pretty much what we do. Like, this is the intuition of what we do in gradient descent. So that's pretty much it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.